What up, YouTube? My name is Sharice. Welcome to Reese TV. Glad that you're here. And welcome to another episode of Makeup News, where I do my makeup as I give the news. So let's make up as I give the news. So let's start off with a few corrections. The last video, I kept on saying verdict when it came to the Jonathan Majors sentencing. And that is incorrect. So the word is sentencing, not verdict, because they already came up with the verdict. They came up with a split verdict. So my bad. I just wanted to correct that. Another thing I wanted to correct was the Rhett and Link news. Rhett and Link, they are not leaving YouTube. In fact, according to them, they are leaning in more to YouTube. They are coming out with a series that they will post on their original channel, Rhett and Link, and they are going to continue to do Good Mythical Morning. So those are two bits of corrections that I wanted to make. I knew that corrections were going to be needed when it came to the Rhett and Link. I told you in the last video, I haven't watched their video of their gone video or we're done video. It was very misleading. And they approached that subject saying how it was misleading, but they mentioned that the reason why they said that they're done is because they are done asking for permission to be themselves. On to more current news. Let's talk about Monique's interview on Shay, because that is what people are talking about. Full disclaimer, I am not a Monique fan. I don't feel like that needs to be said in order to give real news, but I just want it to be known that Monique has never been my favorite comedian. It's very, honestly, rare that a female is one of my favorite comedians. Just mainly because they're really raunchy. They're always raunchy on stage. And not to say that males aren't raunchy, but males tend to kind of mix it up. Like, they don't lean in to the raunchiness, not like females do. The comedians that I like have a story. And I just basically laugh at how relatable their story is. Females tend to just talk about particular female organs and particular male organs and bedtime activities. And it's like, do you have anything else to give? Anything else? Really? It just always annoys me. But I just wanted to give that disclaimer that I am not a Monique fan. I think I kind of revealed that before because I talked about her before. I talked about how she talked about how she was not getting paid as much as male comedians. But it's just mainly about the disparity. That was the subject, about the disparity of Black female actresses in Hollywood. That was the subject. Now, she talked about this as well as Viola Davis and more recently, Tara G. Now, let me talk about how annoying that whole interview was. That interview was probably the most annoying interview I've ever sat through because she's also a Sagittarius. Yay, all these Sagittariuses coming out in peace and love and happiness, but not really. I'm sorry, that's just my personal experience with Sagittariuses. It's like, I want peace as I destroy you. Like, why? Why are you destroying me? Give me some reasons why you're destroying me. And she says that she has receipts, right? But honestly, I looked at all of her receipts, and all of her receipts are missing items. I know supporters are like, oh yeah, she has receipts, and Tyler Perry said that he blackballed her on that recording. No, No, he didn't. Like, I listened to that recording. There was no, hey, I blackballed you, I'm sorry, on that recording. None of it. There was a hypothetical, but there was no, yes, Monique, I'm so sorry. I'm going to make this right. There was, however, a, hey, Monique, oh man, I'm so sorry about your inconvenience. Let me give you money. And Monique said, I don't want your chump change. Like, that's basically what she said. I don't want your chump change. I want compensation. And the thing about the compensation that she's asking for, she's not just asking for money, even though she keeps on repeating that he lost her $10 million. She wants her credibility back, which I don't know. Like, I don't know if she can get her credibility back because of how things went down. So, honestly, before the whole Monique, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey thing happened, I thought that it was a normal thing to do a press tour for whatever movie or show that you're in. Now, that's my knowledge of it before even getting into the acting world. Now, I understand that there are contracts, which she constantly refers to. So according to her, the contract said something along the line of she has to promote on every Lee Daniels platform. And according to her, that's what she did. Every Lee Daniels platform, she promoted Precious. And then when they asked her to do other things like the international stuff, that's not Lee Daniels stuff. So she did not believe that she had to be a part of that. And she didn't. Now, according to her, Oprah said, oh, well, that's your prerogative. You can do that. You are completely right in what you believe is right for you. And then she mentioned how Tyler Perry had a talk with her. This is not the recorded Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry had a talk with her and said, hey, long story short, you will be setting yourself up for so much money if you did your press tour. And she rebutted and said, no, I'm not going to get that money. Who has ever heard of a black woman who looks like me getting that much money? And so, according to her, they hugged and that was it. That sounds like something's missing. It really does. But even if nothing is missing, dude, he tried to set you up for success and you said no? What? Like, one thing I have learned in this acting game is that you have to do a whole bunch of free stuff before you get the big money stuff. Like, I talked about it when it came to Taraji. Her talks about how she's not getting as much money as someone else who has done more work than she. And it's like, you don't get to do that. You don't. But talking about Taraji did come up in the interview, and this woman had the audacity to say that Cookie was offered to her before it was offered to Taraji. Now, her thoughts of offered means that there is no one else, that she doesn't have to audition. This is hers, no matter what. And I literally read in Taraji's book that she was sitting on the script. What are you talking about, Monique? When she said that, I was like, that's a lie. That's a lie. Like, she tried to play it off and say, well, she tore it up. Nobody else could do it as good as her, or blah, blah, blah. She tried to give her credit. But at the same time, she tried to take that away. She tried to just say, well, that was mine first. Like, You almost had me say a curse word. But OMG. What? What? Oh, the madness. I'm like, that's a lie. How are you bold-faced lying on TV? I'm sorry, not TV, but on YouTube. I mean, it's on somebody's TV. It was on my TV. For her to just sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I was offered cookie. It was a sure thing that I was gonna get cookie." Obviously not. And she blames it on her skin complexion, and she blames it on her weight. She says that if she were white, she would be Melissa McCarthy. I have not heard anything about Melissa being difficult. Nothing. But I have heard about Monique being difficult, and I've heard that since Moesha. And did you hear how she tried to discredit Moesha? Did you hear that? Oh, I was in Hollywood for 3 months and I got my own show. Wait, what? What? So we're going to act like Moesha didn't exist? And then Shay, he mentioned Moesha and she was like surprised Pikachu face, like, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh, let me tell you what happened. I never auditioned for the Parkers. I never auditioned for Moesha. They said they wanted me, and then they said, I want you to audition. And then I said no, because if you want me, then I don't need to audition. And so I didn't audition. That interview, it got so much on my nerves because she has the mentality of, I'm already famous. You need to be bowing down to me. I shouldn't have to do anything for you. What are you going to do for me? Just so annoyed by that whole interview. But let's talk more about Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry never gave an actual apology. It was all hypothetical. Every bit of the conversation about an apology was hypothetical. She asked, how would you feel if it was you? If somebody said lies about you? Wouldn't you want somebody to speak on your behalf? Would you want anybody to just stay by and just watch things happen? Would you? And he said, no, I wouldn't. And then she was also so contradictory. So she mentioned earlier in the interview of how the Monique that's on stage is separate from the Monique in real life. And she had the audacity to ask for Tyler Perry to be his character Medea on the phone because she believes that Medea wouldn't talk to her that way. She believes that Medea would understand her. What? It's either one or the other. Do we separate the personalities or are they the same? Like, make up your mind. You can't just talk to somebody's personality when you want to. You can't approach their personality when it benefits you. You can't. This is business. And he was willing to just write a check. Oh my goodness, Tyler Perry. Woo, Tyler Perry. He dropped that mask. He tried so hard to be cordial with her. He was laughing with her, and it was okay. This is a good conversation, minus her asking for Medea. It was a good conversation, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Let me give you money." And she refused the money, as I said before. And then the conversation went a direction that he himself revealed later on in the conversation that he didn't want it to go. He actually planned on giving her money and just being done with it. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to get on with his life. He literally said, I didn't expect for this conversation to last this long. And and then this woman, woo-wee, she lost it. Both she and her husband lost it when he said that. Like, I don't want to be on this phone this long. I didn't expect to be on this phone this long. I have other things to do. And she was like, oh no, Madea wouldn't talk to me that way. Dude, like, I have other things to do. I am a billionaire. There's a reason why I'm a billionaire. I'm about my business. And then she keeps on claiming that he admitted to blackballing her. He never did. And then she talked about Oprah. And she said that her makeup artist heard everything that she and Oprah talked about, and that he said that Oprah was wrong for what she did. Man, this man said a very general statement. He said that he has watched people change over the years. Long story short, that's all that he said. He didn't say anything along the lines of Oprah was wrong for what she did to you. He never said that. Never. In the recording. And it was a horrible recording too. It was almost as if the recording was over a phone. Like, you kept on hearing things move around. And so it was kind of hard to hear him anyway. But what you could hear of him, no, he didn't say anything about Oprah being wrong for what she did to Monique. There was, once again, things missing from her receipt. And then she goes on and talks about an explosion that happened on the set of a Christmas movie. And I can't remember the director or producer that she was referring to. But long story short, it was the producer. I know it was the producer that she was referring to. Because she mentioned how the director was just so happy that she spoke on his behalf, because the producer came down and started giving her directions right in front of the director. And she stopped him, said, no, boo-boo, you don't get to say that in front of the director because it's confusing to everybody that you are directing in front of the director. Now, I have been in those moments where the producer is directing, and the producer actually gave a disclaimer as to why they were directing. So I feel like if the producer didn't already say so, because in the end, it's the producer that has the last say. So if the producer didn't already say so, they would have said, hey, this is going on with the director, or this is my vision, and I already talked to the director about this, and so this is how things are going to go. Like, the producer would have given some kind of disclaimer, some kind of reasoning why he is giving direction. But it's not your job as the actor to give direction to the producer, to tell the producer where his lane is. That is not your job. Your job is just to act. And if you are going to do something, probably talk about it away from the film set so that not everybody is privy to how you told the producer off. It's weird. Like, she was talking about how she is this crusader of justice, and I understand that side. I understand speaking when something goes wrong or when something is wrong. I understand that. But there's a time and a place for everything. And you just proved how, difficult you are on set by saying exactly what you said about how you approached the producer. What? Anyway, in speaking about this producer, she also mentioned how there was an explosion of her trailer and the trailer that was next to hers. She did show the video of the two trailers that were destroyed. And she mentioned during the interview that she told the producer, hey, there's a gas leak. And the producer just, said whatever to her, basically. And that was the end of the conversation. And so because of his dismissal of her trailer as well as another trailer exploded. Now, there are no receipts of her actually telling him this news. I actually looked around for something saying, hey, there was a gas leak at this time on this set. There was nothing. It didn't make the news. Not to say that everything that happens makes the news, but it's kind of weird that something so major, if it's a film set, why didn't it make the news? Why didn't somebody report on it? If you find it, then please tell me about it. I definitely would like to know. Because maybe I was looking in the wrong place. I just Googled it. I researched the film. I researched the date. I researched the area. And I got nothing. Just nothing. Except for what she posted. So yeah, her interview, like, it's funny that a lot of people were talking about Cat Williams and how he was over exaggerating. But a lot of what Cat Williams had to say, people were able to find receipts, like, quickly. Right? Like, complete receipts. Like, these are receipts that you can actually get a refund for and not just a Walmart gift card, which I feel like all of Monique's receipts would have just given her a Walmart gift card at most, right? Like, you don't have to do much in order to get a Walmart gift card. You don't. You just basically have to present that you got the item that was there. Yeah, at least the last time I checked. Last time I did something, I got a gift card when I just brought them back the item, but I couldn't bring them a receipt. So that's what it was. It wasn't even a receipt. It was the item. She had no receipts. Yeah, that whole thing was just dumpster fire. And I knew I had to watch it because I knew that people would be watching it. But man, oh man. Anyway, let's get on to other news. So the Super Bowl happened and the Chiefs won. And at the same time of the Super Bowl, there was a massacre that happened in Palestine. And at the time of this recording, 67 people died. So while Americans were distracted, there was a bombing. And unfortunately, our president gave a ill-timed X post or Twitter post. It still sounds kind of weird to say X post because it kind of insinuates something else. But yeah, on Twitter, he posted saying something along the lines of just as planned. And it was to troll the Republicans when it came to him getting or asking for endorsement from Taylor Swift. But it came across as something completely different to some people. And it's very unfortunate that people lost their lives during that time period. I hate war. Period. I wish that we could all talk about things, get along. I don't understand why we can't. But unfortunately, these things happen. But in lighter news, it's kind of interesting to think that us Americans were distracted by the Super Bowl, seeing that, honestly, this is the Super Bowl matchup that nobody asked for. Nobody asked for the 49ers and the Chiefs. Like, not to be biased, I was going for Detroit because I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I was so happy to see how far my team got. I don't care that they didn't make the Super Bowl. They got really far this year, and I am so proud of my team for that. But this was a matchup that nobody asked for. It's like the most boring matchup ever. Ever. And yeah, I didn't even watch it. I refused to watch it because I knew how boring it was going to be. And the people who did watch it, they said, oh my goodness, that was the most boring matchup ever. That was the most boring Super Bowl ever. And I'm like, duh. We all knew that before the Super Bowl even started. Why are we surprised Pikachu face that it was boring? Why? But the highlight, of course, was the halftime show. Now, I'm not a Usher fan, so I didn't watch it live. Typically, if there is a boring Super Bowl, then there is a halftime show that is worth watching. And I was like, Usher, I'll skip this one. I'm good. I didn't really like how things went down with the whole Kiki thing. That could have been done a lot better. So yeah, I'm good. I don't think I'm gonna watch this one. But when I heard that my boy Luda was on there, I was like, what? Let me go ahead and watch the replay. So I found YouTube videos of it, and yeah, Alicia Keys, bruh. I saw all the posts about her voice, but just to hear it, it's like, oh. But to be fair, it sounded like both she and Usher were really, really struggling. As a vocalist, it sounded like they were both tirelessly rehearsing before that moment, and their voices just couldn't keep up. That's what it sounded like to me. But funny enough, they corrected it. The NFL official YouTube page corrected the crack. So for those people who didn't hear it with the crack, go ahead, find it on somebody else's page with the crack, and then you'll hear it without the crack on the actual NFL channel for YouTube. You're welcome. I didn't even know about it until somebody else pointed it out. I was like, for real? And so I literally rewatched the whole halftime show just to hear that correction. And then my thoughts are, if you're going to correct that, why didn't you correct everything else that happened to do with the sound? Because as I mentioned, Usher was struggling. The sound wasn't good. But given this is probably the only halftime show that didn't have a pre-recorded performance. So yay for that. Yay, Usher, for giving us a definitely live performance. And one thing that somebody mentioned that I didn't know was that all other performers before Usher, they actually give a little bit of their money in order to give a better performance during Super Bowl. And so according to this one source, Usher only used the money that they gave him for the Super Bowl show. He didn't use any extra money. And so this person was saying that it showed. It showed that he didn't do anything extra. Now, on the flip side of that, I love that Usher actually brought a all-star cast. Like, haven't you watched these shows and said to yourself, man, I wish that they brought this person on stage and this person on stage and this person on stage. Where was this person? And Usher did that. Usher brought Alicia Keys, Little John, will.i.am, her, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris. I feel like I'm missing people. Like, that's how star-studded it was. And a person that was noticeably missing was Justin Bieber, because I'm not sure if you know it, but Usher produced Justin Bieber. Now, somebody also mentioned that, yay, Black History Month. Yeah, only Black people. Only Black people were featured on his show. So, Justin Bieber, even though you were invited to the cookout, you still ain't Black. You're not Black enough to be on the Usher stage. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, that was fun. But I feel like he used that money to get those people. And I appreciate it. I appreciate him for doing that, because last year it was Rihanna. And the only person that Rihanna brought onto stage that people were excited about was her unborn child. But people were like, dude, Jay-Z was in the audience. Why couldn't you just bring him on? Like, I would have loved to hear him during Umbrella. But honestly, yeah, it was like, noticeably, where's Jay-Z? Why isn't he on stage? So I think that is all the news. And I have to go. My makeup is done. And I'm very much Black History Month today. Oh my goodness. I was like, you know what? I don't have anything really that I have to be professionally dressed for, so I'm gonna be Black History Month and kind of feel like I'm representing McDonald's too. Hey, McDonald's, I may not like everything that you have on your menu, but hit a girl up. Yeah. Okay, I'm delusional. Anywho, let me get out of here before I start rambling some more. And until next time, I will catch you later. Goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.